Three strong men from the East rise from the ashes of censorship and cancel culture, seeking answers with an overwhelming desire to get to the bottom of that.
In fact, tomorrow, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested.
Well, let's not say it.
We need to go, I'll say it. All right. We need to go in to the Capitol. Let's go!
Getting to the bottom of that just got a whole lot weirder.
I looked at you and said, repeat that. You said, I've got to get to the bottom of that. We have liftoff.
Check out what's coming up on today's episode.
Unless you're dumb.
Thinking of that Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, Amy Schumer.
I don't like that lady very much.
Dude, she's nasty.
Which one, Winehouse?
No, Schumer.
No,
Yeah.
Schumer.
You know she's related
She's Chuck
to...
Schumer's daughter.
Yeah, no, granddaughter.
Oh, that makes sense.
Is it granddaughter? She's
Maybe
related to some him,
his sister.
to him somehow.
Wow.
It's weird.
She's nasty, dude.
She is.
Her comedy is just
And she
it's
stole
not
jokes.
funny.
And she stole jokes.
Well, I didn't know that, but
Yeah,
that
she
makes
stole
sense.
It is disgusting.
She's always talking about her private parts
It is,
and
man.
how it smells or it's
I don't want
How it's like,
It's just, I'm like, why are you even on stage right now?
yeah. Somebody boo her off. Get out of
Oh
here.
my gosh, help me.
Yeah.
This is all new to me.
And did Hitler escape to the moon aboard this fantastic craft that they made? Is Hitler on a moon base?
This is intense.
Okay, did that happen? These are the questions of some of the most popular claims concerning the device known in German as the Die Glocke, aka in English it simply means the bell, because it's shaped like a bell.
Okay,
So-
SS stands for Schutzstaffel.
Schutzstaffel?
Schutzstaffel, which translates to protection squadron or protective mission.
Try it again.
Oh wow,
Try it again.
Schutzstaffel?
Schutzstaffel?
That sounds kind of
Swedish.
Yeah.
Some
I was going to
sausages?
say your Wiener Schnitzel. Schnitzel? Schwen from Sweden. Wiener Schnitzel.
That sounds... There you go. There you
Okay,
go.
you
There
just got to
it
get
is.
mean and angry.
You just gotta yell it. And then
Even
point.
though I just said I love you very much, it sounded like you
Yeah.
know, you're going to hell, you spawn of Satan.
That was really good. See, that was a good one.
Hey guys, real quick before we start the show, wanted to let you know kind of how we do things around here, how we do the podcast. If you've ever wanted to make a podcast, we use Spotify. Spotify's got a platform that lets you make a podcast really, really easy. And then they let you distribute it everywhere and even earn some money if you want a little change, ching in your pocket. And they do it all in one place. And it's for free. That's the exciting part. It's called Spotify for Podcasters. Here's how it works. They let you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or your computer, and then they'll let you distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. And if you want to take your conversations to the next level, they have really cool features like Q&A and polls, and those are the things that really get people and your fans talking about things. So with Spotify for Podcasters, you can also earn money, including ads and podcast subscriptions, and the best of all, like I said, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I've discovered it, I feel like the options of the Q&A and the video options and the polls has really let me take the creativity of my podcasting to another level. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today.
Geisman Enterprises exclusively presents a talk show that will get to the bottom of things once and for all. And now here's your host for Let's Get to the Bottom of That, three weirdos on a mic.
Yeah, coming on in and the mic is hot. What's up, my conspiracy nuts? And you know who you are. This is Byron Dice. Welcome into another episode of Let's Get to the Bottom of That. Today is episode 55. The Die Glocke. Not sure what that means, but we're going to talk about it. That is German.
Yeah.
It was good to hear from Mike last week.
It was
Mike was back on the show for the anniversary show. It was good to hear his voice back on the mic.
I love Mike.
Three Weirdos on a mic. But we were not on mic. He was on a mic. Just to make that clear with everybody.
On mic.
Yeah. We weren't doing the...
We sat on his lap during the episode.
I wasn't doing the Bill Clinton shuffle. I mean, the... What's that guy's name?
Bill Cosby.
Oh, the Bill
Cosby.
Cosby. Well, Bill Clinton did it too, so...
My goodness.
I bet he's got a shuffle.
I still feel bad about that one.
That's all right. Probably everybody's forgiven you by now.
Probably not.
Well, you know what? By the time this episode drops, we'll have some comments on it probably.
Yeah.
And people will let us know.
Yeah. Probably.
You know, if anybody knows what Bill Cosby did. I didn't even know he was still. I thought he was dead.
I don't know.
When you see pictures, he looks dead.
Speaking of that, have you ever seen that the conspiracy about Avril Lavigne being dead and was replaced?
Yes.
You seen that?
Wait, she's dead though.
No, supposedly I don't know. Is she actually dead now?
I think she is. Didn't she die? Oh, I'm thinking of somebody else.
No, that was.
I'm thinking of that Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, Amy Schumer.
I don't like that lady very much.
Dude, she's nasty.
You know
Which one?
she's-
Winehouse?
No, Schumer.
No,
Yeah.
Schumer.
You know she's related
She's Chuck
to...
Schumer's daughter.
Yeah, no, granddaughter.
Oh, that makes sense.
Is it granddaughter? She's
Maybe
related to
his sister.
to him somehow.
Wow.
It's weird.
She's nasty, dude.
She is.
Her
dude.
comedy is just.
And she
It's
stole
not
jokes.
funny.
And she stole jokes.
Well, I didn't know
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah,
that
she
makes
stole
sense.
jokes.
It is disgusting.
That
dude.
kind of tracks. She's always talking about her private parts
It is, man.
and how it smells or it's
I don't
wet.
want to.
How it's like-
It's just I'm like, why are you even on stage right now?
Yeah. Somebody boo her off. Get out of
Oh
here.
my gosh, help me.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we got off on that tangent, but thanks, Mike, for joining us
Yep. Thanks,
for
Mike.
the anniversary show. We're getting into this episode today. This is called the Die Glocke. And
Hey.
I'm saying it like that because that's how you say it in German.
Die Glocke Wunderwaffe.
So I think we should all talk in German accents if we
Yeah.
can on the show.
Nine.
Do you have one? Is that it?
That's
9?
all I got. Nine,
Die
nine,
Glocke.
nine.
Die Glocke. Do you have your papers? I could do that one.
Bro,
pretty
that
good.
does not sound
Do,
German.
do you have your papers? No,
what
it's
did
just
you
the
say?
papers.
Those are
It's
terrible.
the phrase was right, but the accent was off.
We finally found something Byron can't do.
You sounded in
Hey.
Italian.
Hey.
Do you have your papers?
Do you have your papers? Where are you from? Germany. How did you guess?
Yeah, that's definitely Italian, pal.
So here's the questions of the day, gentlemen.
Yeah.
When we put this on the schedule, I had no idea what a Die Glocke was.
Yeah, I thought it
First
was.
of all, I
Yeah.
thought it was Die Glocke. And then once I researched it, I found out it's German and it's Die Glocke. That's how you pronounce it. So here's the questions. Did the SS, and look this up, Joey, what does SS stand for in the Nazis? I have no idea. Super soldier?
Super Satan.
Okay. Look that up. I don't know what it
Look
means.
up. Hey,
Jamie.
I'll do it.
Where's Jamie? Oh, did the SS perfect an anti-gravity machine at the end of World War II? That's the question. Did they? Next question. Could Nazis teleport between dimensions?
Okay.
That's the other question. You have an answer?
I this is all new to me.
And did Hitler escape to the moon aboard this fantastic craft that they made?
Really.
Is Hitler on a moon base?
This is intense.
Okay. Did that happen? These are the questions of some of the most popular claims concerning the device known in German as the Die Glocke, a.k.a. in English, it simply means the bell
Okay.
because it's shaped like a bell.
Okay,
So-
SS stands for Schutzstaffel.
Schutzstaffel?
Schutzstaffel, which translates to protection squadron or
Okay.
protective echelon.
Try it again.
Oh, wow.
Try it again.
Schutzstaffel?
Schutzstaffel?
That sounds kind of
Swedish.
Yeah.
Some
I was going to
sausages?
say your Wiener Schnitzel. Schnitzel?
Wiener Schnitzel.
Schwen from Sweden.
There you go.
Wiener Schnitzel. Leistung der Kneipen rein.
That sounds- there you go.
Die Glocke.
There you
Okay,
go.
you
There
just got to
it
get
is.
mean and angry.
You just got to yell it and then
Even
point.
though I just said I love you very much, it sounded like you
Yeah.
know, you're going to hell, you spawn of Satan.
That was really good. See, that was a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the existence of this machine, this is apparently a machine, has been and still to this day is very highly contested topic. So people are like, yes, it was. It's kind of like the moon landing. Yes, it was. No, it was fake. Yes, it happened. Glocke. Yes, they built it. No, they didn't because there's no evidence. Right. So let's talk about whether or not this machine was real or not. That's what we're talking about today.
Okay, let's dive into this.
Yeah.
All right. So let's first of all talk about
the
background of what we're talking about. In a schneikling, the Glocke existed against the background of very factual things that happened in history, which was WW2. That was a thing that actually was true. Yeah, the WWE. Hey, how many of those are there, by the way? Remember back in the 80s, there was WWF.
WWF, and then it was WCW.
So what did that stand for?
World Championship.
And then there was WWE.
And there's WWW.
What, that's World Wide Web?
Yeah.
And then it was BWW.
B?
BBW.
Yeah. See, I always got confused after they split off.
Joey knows what I'm talking about.
I didn't know. Was that a Bill Cosby joke?
Basically.
Okay. I'm going to go with the sign saddle.
That was terrible, man.
Okay, here's what happened was what?
Oh, that was almost as bad as the Cosby joke.
Yeah, that was almost as dark.
Well, the German scientists and engineers created a plethora of highly advanced machines. There's no doubt that they did that. So that really happened. So to the WW2 or the WWE audience, it would almost seem like this thing is from pages of a science fiction book or science fiction magazine.
Did you list the ones they did invent that we know of?
Yeah, like for instance, they built jet fighters like the Messerschmitt.
Yes.
The ME-626 or 262. They invented a rocket interceptor called the Bachschirm 349, which is called the Natter.
Yep.
They also did a V1 rocket,
Yeah.
a robot bomb, which was AKA called the Feinschlägerfied, which is a flying bomb.
A little better, yeah.
Yeah. So, and the V2 was basically the world's first ballistic missile that they created. So they were cutting edge technology, World War II.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So they were like, there was mad scientists in there.
Yeah.
So it's when you go back and look, could they have built this machine? Absolutely. Why is it far-fetched if they did all this stuff that was out in the open?
Because they didn't have
You know what I'm saying?
Atomic bomb.
Oh, Oppenheimer.
Yeah. I mean, if they had that kind of...
Weren't they trying to do that, though?
They
They
were.
were.
They were trying to do that.
That was the race, is they figured out nuclear fission.
Yeah.
The Nazis figured that out.
The Germans, really?
Yep.
I didn't think that happened until the Philadelphia experiment.
No,
fission. Yeah, go ahead.
So they figured it out, and then Oppenheimer was like, they can turn this into a bomb, and we need to figure out how to do it first.
Was Oppenheimer American? Or German?
He went over to Germany for a little bit, but he was American.
Oh, okay.
He studied under one of the guys that, gosh, what was the name of him?
Did you watch the movie?
Von Schneikling?
Yes, I did.
It was good, wasn't it?
I did, but I also watched the documentary. And the movie was extremely historically accurate.
Yeah.
Really?
Extremely, yeah. Because I always do that first, just to
make sure they got,
make
fact
sure
check.
Yeah, fact check them, dude.
That's what people should do before these shows. Before you watch, go watch a documentary, then listen to this podcast, and then blast us.
Yeah, I can't remember the scientist's name that he studied under, but
Von Wienerschnitzel?
Something like that.
Okay.
Wiener Schnatzi. And it was an arms race to make the atomic bomb.
Okay, so they were working on all this stuff behind the scenes.
Yep.
Scientists, engineers.
They actually went and got Albert Einstein. He was German. They pulled him.
Really?
Yeah, but he was also a Jew.
But he was Jewish.
Yeah, he was a Jewish German.
So that was one of the only reasons.
I didn't know that.
That was
Jewish German? How does that work?
That they used a Jewish.
I mean, what about the death camps? How could you be a Jewish German when they hated your guts?
That's why he left. He came and helped us.
I'm trying to connect the dots here. Okay, I had the Jewish part. Mm-hmm. Is it because my parents were German, and then I became? You see what I'm saying?
So you're mistaking nationality with
religion.
Sure, or genealogy.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how that works because
he was a Jew
I
living
didn't know,
in Germany.
Like all the Holocaust.
I don't know how hard this is. It's like an American being Jewish.
There's a Jew living in America. I mean, it's not science.
That is right. No, I need to break this down.
This isn't.
This is
nuclear
boggling
fission.
my mind.
All right, let's backtrack here.
Maybe we should do an episode
Albert
on Jewish.
Einstein's family at one point lived in his
Israel.
genealogy
In Israel.
in Israel.
Then they migrated.
They moved to Germany. He was born in Germany as a German.
Oh, his parents moved to Germany. Okay, I got you.
And then,
So you're saying German citizen?
no, he was born in Germany.
That's what I'm saying. But his parents weren't German. You said his parents moved there
Germany,
from Israel.
That's not a race. Jews are
That's-
race.
No. Listen, hear me out. You said his parents moved to Germany, right?
No,
from
no.
Israel.
I don't know who the genealogy of
You just said he was from Israel.
This is the timeline. I said his ancestors
Okay.
at some point moved from there
Israel.
to here. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't even know, but at some point. See,
I'm
now-
going to get all kind of comments on this. You fart muncher. You are so stupid.
You dungleberry? You dungleberry?
Maybe we could talk about it offline.
Hey, we'll figure this out. We'll
It's
get to
kind
it.
of confusing. Anyway,
Let's do an
We're
episode
talking
on
about
it.
Die Glocke.
Let's do an episode.
We could. Jewish. Is it Jewish or is it not?
Yeah.
Is it kosher or not?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll work it out. Let's see. Okay, where was I? Okay, so all of these weapons were built by a sinister, secret regime that used slave labor in a vast underground network of tunnels called Mittelwerk, that reminded you of like an evil lair, like in a James Bond novel.
Yeah.
So they had all these tunnels under here, and you probably walking through going like, this is like a evil Dr. Evil under here doing all these experiments and stuff. And then they saw Bucky Barnes in there. It was getting, his brain was getting smashed and
He was
stuff.
getting,
Getting an arm.
he was
So
getting pulled out of his nose.
in short, Germany was fertile ground for exaggerating historical truth. So already, see, we got this backdrop.
Right.
We got World War II. We got science engineers. We got underground evil layers. We're creating fantastic weapons that are highly advanced. So if you wanted to exaggerate the truth and say, hey, they built a anti-gravity machine, it seems plausible.
Okay.
It is
already.
It is, and the Germans were doing some weird stuff, dude. Like they were stealing paintings for whatever reason. One of my buddies was telling me the other day that they were snatching like all of the bells out of like churches in those times.
What?
Yeah, they were like stealing bells and all kind of like
See, I didn't know that.
all
I didn't know that
kinds of
Well,
funky
that kind of
stuff.
makes sense now.
Yeah,
That's the shape of this machine.
shape of the machine. So I don't know, man. It's almost like they had some sort of external force telling them what to do. Some kind of demonic something or other.
Some kind of demonic German force.
Some sort of Nephilim race telling.
I wonder if Hitler was the lineage of a Nephilim.
Well, do you know Hitler's stage? I can't remember the name of the stage, but it was directly modeled
talking about.
after a Babylonian
Oh, gotcha.
god.
Yeah, where he did all his major speeches.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
It was
With the
huge.
flags hanging down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, kind of like the speech given in the Empire,
Yes.
like the First Order.
Yeah.
That speech. And I was always wondering, how do these people hear him so far back? Did he have a microphone? You know what I'm saying? Because he was speaking. How do they hear?
I tried to forget those episodes.
He would yell, and then someone else would yell. Would yell again.
Yes,
and
yes,
then
I've
they'd
heard
yell
that, yeah.
again. Like, oh, and then guy can somebody do it. And then someone-
Instant line. What did he say? He said, shave his mustache.
Yeah. I accidentally cut both sides and left the middle.
But
He said, "Death to the Jews," and everyone's like, "Oh,
I want to drink milk.
that's terrible."
Okay,
All right.
yeah, that's horrible.
Let's move on.
Die Glocke was first brought to the public consciousness in 2000. There was a book that spawned several more books examining this phenomenon. And they were all in agreement that the man who created the Die Glocke, or at least he was administratively in charge, was the SS Obergruppenführer, Dr. Hans Kammaler. And I misspelled that. What is it?
Kamala
Kammaler.
Harris.
Kamala Harris?
We did it, Joe.
We did it.
Yes. sir.
Dr. Hans, I was going to say Hans Gruber. Of course, everybody gets that reference, right?
Who's that?
Hans Gruber.
Never heard of her.
Her? Oh, gotcha.
Hardly know her.
Well, John McClane threw him out a window, the Nakatomi building.
Yippee
Christmas. Yeah. That's Hans Gruber. Anyway, maybe he was related to Hans Kamiller. He was the sinister head of the V for Vengeance weapons program.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay.
For vengeance.
Fortunately for all concerns, Hans Kammler was straight out of the central casting for almost a comic book Nazi villain who managed to disappear into thin air at the end of the war in May of 1945. So it just disappeared, vanished. Maybe he's inside the machine. Don't know.
Yeah, he's frozen in time somewhere.
So according to many sources on the internet,
Yeah.
because I mean the internet, you gotta know that. All have mentioned the book that was published in 2000, and then another one in 2001. All accounts state that the SS designed and built a strange anti-gravitation craft whose shape gave it the name the Bell, and it was powered by a mysterious fuel called Zerum-525, otherwise known as red mercury. Now, Joey, I asked you to look up some information on Zerum-525. Did you get anything on this? I asked you to look up Hans Gruber. Did you get anything?
I got it.
You got some information on the Groupster?
Yeah.
So I didn't find a lot on Zerum-525.
Yeah, I found, so hang on one second, dude.
I think it was a super serum that they used.
They probably,
Yeah, they
'Cause
injected
red-
it. So, okay, so here's what I found, okay? I went on a deep dive last night, and my brain still kind of hurts from it.
Okay.
So let me think about how I can even start off this. Okay. We're going to get into some science here. I'm
Go ahead.
not a scientist, but this is going to come out
But you
of...
play one on this podcast.
I play one on this podcast, and I was thinking today, man, somehow I always end up reading scientific stuff. But this is out of the book, The Hunt for Zero Point, which is by Nick Cook,
Okay.
which is inside the classified world of anti-gravity technology.
Oh,
Okay?
talk to me, brother.
So this is all I mean, when did this book come out? 2000 something? I don't remember. But the book is basically proving what this Zerum-525 could have been used for.
Okay.
So here's what I'm just going to start reading.
Okay.
And it's
Read
a lot
to
to
me.
read. You guys can butt in at any point in time.
All right. Jason's got this.
Most of the
Hold on. You
Okay.
said any point.
Got
in
it.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Yeah, and you guys can. This is the night tour. You can say whatever you want. You guys see that episode?
No.
All right.
Which one?
That's a bad one. Don't worry about it. I think you can leave, but
Oh,
anyway, it's a funny show.
Bill Cosby.
Anyway, most of the scientists disclaim that negative gravity can be generated artificially. So this book's talking about anti-gravity and its discovery. Okay. In fact, clarifying it's anything but pseudo-scientific. However, shortly after the First World War, a French scientist named Élie Cartan has formulated a derivative of the general relativity theory that is presently known as Einstein's Cartan theory. It is a set of equations in which, contrary to Einstein's theory itself, apart from mass-induced gravity appeared also gravity with negative sign. Einstein's view such that mass was the only source of the curvature of space. I said it twice and I still can't say it.
Space. Yeah, I got it. The curve of space. Got it.
Which in turn generated gravity. Cartan introduced the factors, the spinning of a mass and the spinning of fields, such as electromagnetic fields. In both cases, a negative component was supposed to be produced. To this day, this theory is recognized by mainstream science. It has, however, would be impossible to make any device in a laboratory which could lift off. For example, we would have to accelerate a 100 G rotor to the speed of 10,000 RPMs. The component should have the amount of a very small fraction of a milligram of basically anti-gravity.
Jeez. So like he's debunking.
No. Well, yes, at first. So what they did is this theory is, and again, I had to read this like 45 times last night to make any sense.
Did your eyes cross?
Hundreds of times. But essentially the theory is that if you give something enough speed, it creates an anti-magnetic effect or anti-gravity effect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because of the magnetics with it. Okay.
Yeah.
It all
science.
goes.
Yeah.
So in the book, he's like, okay, so obviously, what can they do to make this stronger? To basically proven this bell could have been used for anti-gravity. So he said, what can they do to make this stronger? One can reduce the weight of a spinning body or surrounded by a fast-spinning field, let's say between 1 and 10%, that quite easily, which means a device powered by a battery. Almost nobody wondered what is really the cause of this effect, but in the first years of our millennium, the ESA, the European Space Agency, has carried out quite a serious research project whose aim was ascertaining to what extent spinning mass and fields may generate anti-gravity, and how big exactly is the difference between Einstein/Cartan's theory and the real world. They used, do you remember in 2006, they used a superconductor spinning in a magnetic field. The results published in March of 2006 were astounding. It turns out that the effect was, I can't even read that number. I'm going to say 100 trillion.
It's big.
It's huge, times stronger than the scientists believed.
Ooh, wow.
Okay.
So this superconductor, where they are slamming them apart, they realized that it was creating an anti-magnetic field in this superconductor. So again, it's proving that this thing can be made stronger. But the Nazis obviously didn't have a superconductor at the time. So,
that we know of.
That we know of, but we're getting to the point where it's going to prove that Zerum. This is
525.
525.
Yeah.
So in physics, there is a general notion that fields in space. I did it again. Space,
I love it.
I'm
going to spell that on our title.
Cannot be separated from each other.
Glocke, space.
For example, you cannot create time-space.
Got it.
Without fields, nor generate fields separated from the time-space.
Wow.
Physicists say that there's a coupling between space and the fields. It means, for example, that by separating fields in some way, such as magnetic fields, it should be possible to separate space or frame of reference, as Einstein meant it. I'm just going to read it slowly so I don't screw this up. Fortunately, the phenomenon of separation of magnetic fields occurs not only in superconductors, but in other situations as well. One of them refers to a peculiar kind of plasma vortexes. They differ from, so it says plasma equals ionized gas. They differ from the other vortexes in plasma in such a way that the lines of magnetic fields inside of them are completely closed. They form closed loops, such as a donut or balls of spinning plasma, completely separated magnetically, are known as plasma solutions or instantons. Very few laboratories can produce large and fast-spinning vortexes of this kind, but they look promising for two reasons. One is that speeds achieved by spinning ions are the order of 1,000 times higher than the speed limit for ceramic superconductors. Secondly, plasma has virtually full tolerance to strong magnetic fields. Moreover, the stronger these fields are, the more durable the vortex is. It is possible to actually generate magnetic fields up to 1 million times stronger than superconductors by using this mercury substance.
Zerum 525.
Yes. So that is what this serum was, as they figured this out back in the day, and then the scientific basic community is just now figuring out that they can create by using superconductors with mercury. So
gotcha.
So what he says is that the German bell makes me believe that it was a kind of trap for a fast-spinning plasma vortex, or in the matter of fact, two vortexes spinning in opposite directions. So it was basically meant to contain this mercury 525 substance running through vortexes and constantly speeding up, creating a anti-gravity field, bro.
So if that happened, I'm trying to wrap my mind around. So you offline earlier, we were talking about. I was asking how would this be effective, or how would you use this? You were telling me that you could do like spaceships you see that stop on a dime and turn.
Yeah.
And that's why the anti-gravity, because if you're contained inside of anti-gravity, it's not going to destroy your brain.
Yeah. So yeah, basically the reason why this, you're like, what would they even need zero gravity for?
Right.
But I'm sure
if they had a craft that could do this.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt the humans inside
if
they were actually able to travel this way.
Yeah, because the big thing with UFOs is that they'll be traveling like Mach 8, and they'll go from Mach 8, stop on a dime, and go Mach 8 the other direction. And then, like, the technology that we have nowadays, the aircraft, whoever's flying the aircraft, his brains would blow all over the side of it because his head would explode.
Right.
We physically cannot handle it. So imposing a anti-gravity basically keeps everything inside from not
the
feeling
craft.
those G's.
And how does, I'm trying to figure out, okay, that makes sense to me, is helping the human. How does the actual craft get propelled through the air?
It doesn't.
Is there like a rocket, or how's it, you know what I'm saying? How does it actually fly?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's creating an anti-magnetic
So
field.
so inside the field, the craft is actually, so,
Yeah.
okay, my mind was going, the field was inside the bell, so to speak, and protecting me from making all these turns, but it's actually outside and allowing the bell to travel this way.
Yeah.
And
it's
because I'm
moving.
inside it, I'm not getting hurt.
Yeah, it's basically moving. It's changing
Gotcha.
space-time around
Gotcha.
it.
Okay,
That's
that
what
makes
these-
more sense to
That's
me.
what these vortexes are doing, and it's doing it.
So
by
that was
speeding.
propelling the thing.
Yeah, so it's creating basically like a magnet. It's creating that. It basically turned this bell into a magnet that could fly around and be controlled. Essentially, that's what this is proving.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So a couple things that's interesting about it is I read this on the notes as well. You know, obviously with it being a magnet, there's going to be some physical effects to it. Did you have anything like that in your notes?
Well, I mean, the next thing I was going to go to is how it was described.
So in my notes, I had, is it shaped like a bell?
Hey, those. Hey, it
Is it
was.
like-
Die Glocke?
Is it really shaped like a bell?
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. It's shaped like a bell.
It's shaped like a bell.
Yeah.
Dude.
So I'm just picturing a bell,
Flying around and
Yeah.
actually
like a church bell. It looks like
Yeah.
a church bell, and it's just with a
Well,
big
wait.
old Nazi swastika on it.
See, that made it more good. More good? More better.
Mo better.
See, like, you know, the Apple logos on the phone?
Yeah.
They had to put the swastika on the bell.
Yeah.
It made it
And
legit.
it just flies around. Okay. DK.
The other
Yeah.
thing, so other than, let's just think about this for a sec. Other than protecting the human and being able to fly these awesome ways, what other benefit would a person or a country have
You-
to have this type of craft?
I got it.
Come on.
I know this from my notes. You you would other benefit this bell.
Yeah.
You would always know if it's noon,
Yeah.
and also
Oh, like when they ring it?
when they ring it.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. See, I thought it was about to go really deep with you,
So
Jason. Dang
actually,
it.
in my notes, it
You've
says,
got some possible benefits of having
Yeah.
this type of craft.
It says the Zerum-525 was a likely eradicated form of mercury, like I said, used in the creation of form of plasma that was intended as a weapon and or propulsion system, which may have been capable of distorting space-time. So, I mean, there's been talks of time travel, all kinds of stuff. That,
Really?
That this thing would be possible. I mean, we don't even know the effects of it, really, because until recent years, they didn't think it was even possible until they started uncovering this stuff. So
aside from the time travel benefit,
And also
how-
mine.
yes, and it's noon.
Yes.
yeah,
What benefit would this have for me to have this craft? How would this give me an advantage over my enemy? Let's put it that way, since we were in World War II.
to be able to fly a craft, mock whatever you want. Because,
But I have no weapons on it.
I mean, you can mount weapons on it.
Oh, I guess so. But wouldn't that interfere with the anti-gravity field?
Well, think about it like this, dude. I can't remember which war it was. My dad used to tell me this all the time. But it was right when the U.S. put out, what are the name of those jets that can fly and
The
and
B-2
stop?
stealth bomber?
No, they
Oh,
can-
the Harriers.
The Harriers. I guess there was a
Helicarrier.
war.
Is that a heli? No, that's...
Do
sorry.
you, do you guys know a bunch about wars?
I know a little bit.
Okay, so
I
there was
fought
this
in-
war.
I do.
I
What is
cannot
it good
remember.
for?
I cannot remember the war. Yeah. I can't remember which one it was, but
Okay.
supposedly we had like a war that lasted a week, and we essentially sent over 13 of these Harriers, and our Harriers would
they can-
fly. They would stop. Their planes would fly ahead. We'd shoot them down. We took down their entire fleet with these Harriers because they were so much more advanced. Back in the war, World War II, same thing, dude. They would have been able to absolutely annihilate us with a
Okay,
spice-
gotcha.
with a space.
So this would be a huge advantage over
100 times
another
over.
country that didn't have this type of technology.
Yeah, 100 times over, dude.
Okay.
So to give some validity to this, Mercury dilemma.
Yeah.
It says this guy basically traced it down, this Nick Cook feller. He says the physical aspect of this project involving the bell, codenamed the Kronos Lattermictrager,
That's pretty good.
was managed by Professor Walter Gerlach, which I think you mentioned that, didn't you?
I haven't mentioned Professor Gerlach.
I swore you did. Maybe you didn't. I don't know.
No, I got some other names in here that are pretty cool.
One of the best scientists. Gerlach became famous in the 1920s after the so-called Stern-Gerlach experiment, in which he examined the spins of atomic nuclei in a strong magnetic fields. Generally, it was his main area of expertise. Later, but still after the war, he shifted his interest towards the experiments with mercuric plasma, ionized mercury vapors, which is stagnant because of the bell, which is significant because of the bell. It was exactly such a plasma that was accelerated. The next stage was researching pertaining a closed or self-contained plasma vortices, which apparently was catechized by his personal close observation of ball lightning.
Balls.
Observing a ball of lightning. These are also solutions differing from the gravitationally useful solutions only in such a way that the plasma doesn't achieve significantly high speeds. All these findings are described in scientific papers, and retrospective references are given in my book, the previously published in 2003, The Truth About the Wunderwaffe.
Wunderwaffe. Yeah.
So
I got that in my notes too.
that was some science for you, but basically, yeah, they're able to create an anti-magnetic field using mercury. That's what that 525 was.
All right, cool.
In a nutshell, dude.
Well, the bell was described as being 12 and 14 feet tall. Okay, so we got the dimensions here. 9 feet wide, and it was made of like 3-inch thick ceramic material. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just in case anyone was aware, like you mentioned, if they were like flying through the air with this, they had to put a large swastika on it just to make sure everybody knew.
Yeah.
Hey, this is who we are. We're flying with this thing.
Yeah.
Want to make sure you know who we are. Gotcha. So actually, is there any actual evidence that this device was built? Well, that's where the trail goes cold due to a lack of documentary evidence. And the research I was doing stated that it was unusual for the Germans to not have any records of this thing because they were very good at record keeping.
Yeah.
Everything they did with all their advanced weapons. So it appears that the modern evidence for the existence of the Die Glocke seems to rest on the author's alleged conversations with a Polish intelligence officer who had access to a secret dossier. Mm-hmm. Of course he did. A secret dossier of material from the interrogation of SS involved with the project. Okay, so somebody knew somebody that knew somebody.
Somebody knew somebody who knew somebody.
So various names have been suggested, largely due to their proximity of real Nazi secret programs.
Yeah.
So there were real secret programs that they had, okay? And some of these people's names that came up were close to these programs. So they were like, well, if you're in that secret program, it's probably highly likely that you were involved in the Die Glocke program.
Yeah.
So one of the foremost being Dr. Werner Heisenberg.
Heisenberg.
Yeah, we all know Heisenberg. He likes, is that Arizona? I always get that wrong.
New Mexico.
New Mexico, thank you. Dr. Werner Heisenberg was one of the most foremost German physicists, to work for the Nazis. And he was a leader in the German atomic bomb program.
What?
Hello. We know where Heisenberg was and what he was working on throughout the war. Okay, so they know that.
Yeah.
He was captured by the Americans in 1945, and he was thoroughly interrogated, whatever that means.
They gave him a house.
There's
and a place
probably
to stay.
There's probably a screwdriver involved. But although he was highly interrogated, he never mentioned the Die Glocke. Now, was it such a great secret to keep under wraps that he didn't want to give that up, or was it just simply not in his peripheral, or did it even exist? That's the question. There were many Nazi scientists who could have been involved with the Bell, and the U.S. captured and shipped nearly all of the Nazi Germany's best scientific minds to the States in a top-secret operation called Operation Paperclip. We all know that's a real thing.
Right.
So we got all of our greatest minds over here from Nazi Germany. We talked about that earlier. Is it possible that the U.S. retrieved Die Glocke and shipped it back to the United States as well? That's a question there.
Here's what I got. So I got some notes here from Igor Wachowski's book, which is where a lot of this stuff comes from. Let me read it. What's the name of the book? Did I say it earlier? I can't remember.
Well, I've got a book, too, called The Morning of the Magicians. Is that the book?
No, must be a different one.
Go ahead.
Let me pull it up here. I'm scrolling, bro. I'm scrolling. Where did it go? Oh, yeah. So the origins of the story, the storage of the Die Glocke, gained prominence through the writings of the Polish journalist and author Igor Wachowski in his book, The Truth About the Wunderwaffe, which the Wunderwaffe just literally means wonder weapon. That's what this is.
This is amazing that we have multiple authors that have wrote a book about this subject. So that's kind of tell right there for me.
Yes, and he actually listed in his book, which a lot of my notes kind of go off of what he said and things that he said. So basically, he listed out a couple locations of the test sites, and kind of gave us a chronological time frame of where this thing was located until basically the end of the war. Okay. So he said that the Nazi Bell was initially housed in a basement beneath the Charity Hospital in Berlin, and thus the project was known as the Charité Anlage. In November of 1943, the Bell was moved to an underground laboratory beneath Gondaru Airfield on the western outskirts of Breslau, now known as the Polish city of Wrocław, maybe?
I like it. Wrocław.
Yeah, in November 1944, the Bell was moved to Freudenstein Castle in Burgenland, Austria. And then in December, 1 month later, it was moved inside the abandoned Wenceslaus mine. That's the one you have, right? Wenceslaus? How do you say it? It's in your notes, bro.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, sweet. We read that like freaking 10 minutes ago, Joe. It's gone.
Did I really?
Yeah, you did. It's
you mean the tunnel?
Yeah, the Wenceslaus mine. You said it. Some 3.1 kilometers southwest of the. I actually have.
Said southwest.
I actually have the kilometer, the latitude of the location of this mine too. Interestingly enough.
Oh no, I called the tunnels. The network of tunnels were called Mittelwerk.
I read it in your notes earlier, bro. It's in there somewhere.
Good.
Anyway, southeast of the main complex Soloclek underground works is the Project Reese, the ruins of a concrete framework.
That was good.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, I can read German, but then better than I read English, bro. Dubbed the Henge, may have once served as a test rig for the experiment of the anti-gravity propulsion generated with Die Glocke. Have you guys heard of that? The Henge?
Mm-hmm.
When researching this thing?
I've heard it before, though.
No, I haven't. I've heard people going off on a hinge. But
so there's in this guy's book,
Unhinged.
He found this structure. It almost looked like the Stonehenge he believed that this thing was basically connected to during testing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's located right over those, or pretty close to those mines. So, but again, that's one of those things they said that it was wildly debunked, and that was probably a stand for cooling tower. So that's questionable. But
questionable.
In the end of a SS run, the Special Evacuation Command Team / Unit evacuated the Bell and its supporting documentation prior to the Russians overrunning the facility. The research team of scientists was less fortunate. They were taken out and shot by the SS between April 28th and May 4th, 1945. Records show that there were 62 of them, and many of them Germans. There were no survivors, but that's hardly surprising. And that's a quote from his book, Igor Wachowski.
Wow.
So,
I think everybody got a grab of this. U.S., Russians. Yeah. Everybody got their hands on this technology.
So, and he also writes in the same book, that there were some eyewitness accounts of people that have seen the bell in those times, and also, like, it's basically where it ended up, okay?
Yeah.
And this kind of goes along with what we believe about the Nazis being in Argentina, right? So the SS Lieutenant General Jacob Sporenberg, police chief, i.e. Gestapo Lubin, preoccupied Lubin. So he saw the bell, and SS, I can't even freaking read that one, dude. Robert Schuster from interrogation report at the Berlin Document Century about the evacuation of the bell by air in 1945. Dr. Wilhelm Voss, chief executive of Skoda Works, he gave that to a gentleman, basically a handwritten account to a guy named Tom Oxton. Soviet
Tom.
plasma scientist G.N. Frolov in 1883 referred to the Prof. Baron Manfred von Ardin as first-hand witness of seeing the bell. There was a railway employee from Opole, Josham Ibrahim, said he saw the bell. And Dr. Otto Cerny, while working at NASA, recounted Nazi bell to Greg Rowe. I'm assuming he's like a journalist or something like that. And then
Saw the bell.
Yeah, and then the Argentine Economic Ministry report declassified 1993 refers to a bell being unloaded in Argentina in a multi-engine German aircraft in May 1945.
Well, Argentina.
Doesn't that just
Case
bring it all
closed.
together?
Argentina.
Case closed.
Yeah, so now, obviously, this guy's book, as you can read from his eyewitness accounts, a lot of these are impossible to track down, so they quote unquote declassify or said his book was junk.
Basically debunked. Okay.
But I don't know.
Oh, because they were like, "Hey, let me go talk to that person that eyewitness. I couldn't track him down."
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and from what I understand, I mean, I was listening to a couple guys talk about this, and like his accounts of it this scientist gave him all this information, but said he couldn't take pictures of it or document it. He just had to transcript it, and that's how he wrote his first book about the descriptions of this.
Sweet.
This bell. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, dude.
Makes sense.
It's a lot of mystery and shrouded in what and who and
Shadows and bells.
exactly, bro.
I don't know why the bell shape.
Maybe that's to contain the anti-gravity.
A bell?
Maybe the shape, it has something to do with it not breaking up. Like, it can't be a box.
Can't be a box, bro.
Has to be a bell.
It's going to break up.
Well, who knows, man? I mean, dude, they were into some weird stuff, the Nazis, bro.
Yeah.
They were into some weird stuff.
Let me talk to you about this book here. And also
Oh, you got a book too?
Yeah, also got a book.
Talk to
and
us.
also I'm going to tell you about an eyewitness accounts of this bell in the United States.
Really?
Flying.
Is that the Liberty
Okay.
Bell?
Yes.
Wow.
Is it? Are
And
you
why it
serious?
was cracked. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm about to say.
Yeah.
But that would be
blow-
funny.
You would blow my mind.
That
Right?
would be funny. So there was a book called The Morning of the Magicians. It was from France in 1960. And it was translated to English in 63. And the book covered Nazi topics, such as UFOs, the occultism, and you guessed it, the Die Glocke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got all these topics in here. So a lot of these topics have truths behind them, such as the UFOs. So like the Horton brothers, they built a flying wings for German Air Force called you mentioned it earlier, the Luftwaffe.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can see a Horton 229 in the Smithsonian today in Washington, D.C. It's got these weird wings that come out on a plane. So the Horton brothers and their designs ended in the U.S. in 1946. Because of the influence of the Horton brothers, you can see in our current military, their design had a huge influence on fighters such as the B-2 stealth bomber. So you see how that's designed? The Horton brothers were the ones that come up with that from Germany.
Yeah.
Okay, so stuff like that. So when they would test these aircrafts, it's no wonder that like in the 50s, there was this huge UFO craze. I'm seeing a UFO, aliens, whatever. Well, it's just experimental aircraft. It was flying around. It looked weird.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they were just experimental aircraft. There was a big, huge craze. So that's why they were talking about the Nazis' UFO. Now, the Nazi occultism had a real real life facts in the story as well. You may have heard of this man, Heinrich
Von
Himmler.
Liechtenstein. Oh, yeah.
What'd you say that again?
Heinrich von Liechtenstein.
Yeah, Liechtenstein.
Yeah,
From Liechtenstein.
yeah.
Heinrich Himmler. He was the head of the SS.
Heimlich.
Yeah. Oh, Heinrich.
Like when you're choking.
Yeah, Heinrich.
Hendrik.
Heinrich.
Heinrich.
Heinrich Himmler. SS.
It's so
He was
hard
the head
to
of
read.
he was the head of the SS, and he used a German castle called Wenzelburg. And I'm sure I messed that one up. It was a sort of holy SS temple, and some strange pseudo religious ceremonies were conducted there. That was all facts. They found this temple and it was really weird. They were doing weird stuff in there.
You know what they're doing?
occultism stuff.
Like sacrificing.
Oh yeah,
Really?
like hanging people up on the walls and cutting them up. Yeah, weird stuff. So that was like facts. So Nazi occultism was a true thing. So the Die Glocke was presented as facts as much as these other stuff was presented as fact in this book. Okay, so that's probably the reason we have stories that have turned into like fantasy and sci-fi, and the Americans were astounded by high-tech weaponry.
Yeah.
And like, because they uncovered all this stuff when they beat Germany. They uncovered the jets, the rocket planes, ballistic missiles, stuff they'd never seen before, secret underground bases. So this was like, I mean, they found electro U-boats. The list goes on and on. So after the war, there was huge imaginations that were given free rein to UFOs, to like people said, I see UFOs over the Capitol. There were sci-fi movies that came out all over the place, and they often referenced evil Nazi scientists. Remember those? There's always this evil Nazi scientist guy. So when the Die Glocke was an anti-gravity machine, which begs the question, did the Nazis experiment with anti-gravity as they experimented with everything else from rockets to jets to the occult? Perhaps this is the answer, but it's not much evidence to support it.
Yeah.
So like, just because this other stuff happened, is it possible that happened? I say yes, because the Germans were weird and they did some weird stuff.
Well, it goes to show how much scientists can figure out if there's no care for human life.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Like, what would a human being do if we fly him up at this speed and then take a left turn at 10
yeah, what would
Gs?
happen? Okay,
Oh,
write that down.
His brains blew all over the side.
Next.
Let's see if we can do that. Throw someone else in there, dude.
Oh, yeah, we need to tweak that little knob right there and make sure that, that doesn't
Throw
happen.
them underwater and see how long they can go underwater before their heads explode. Well, let's see if we can fix that, dude. I mean, but that's what they did, man.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily because I thought about that, like, man, were there scientists just that much smarter than us? But no, we have
I think
morals.
they were willing to just go beyond,
They were willing to do whatever
to test
it
the
took
human limits, yeah.
to kill. That's why they're considered mad scientists, bro, because they were using human test subjects, Jews, whoever, digging that. Like, one of the things I have in my notes is like those massive underground tunnels where they brought this bell. They were
Yeah. And all the weaponry that we found was under there. Just tons of underground bases and
yeah, those were hand dug, dude.
so the lack of evidence doesn't prove that they did not experiment with anti-gravity. It could mean they were just good at hiding it.
Yeah.
We're just good at hiding it.
It's either they were good at hiding it or the U.S. took it.
Right. Well, good point. That leads us to NASA, which has been experimenting with anti-gravity since the 1990s, as well as the Russians. Told you it was a grab.
Yeah,
So Boeing and the BAE systems have also been dabbling in anti-gravity research. These are all facts. It seems that Operation Paperclip grabbed the best of the Nazi scientists in 1945 for rockets and chemicals and bioweapons and aeronautical engineers, but they didn't grab all the experts for anti-gravity. I don't know where they didn't find those guys. Maybe they shot themselves. I don't know. This leaves one obvious question that at this point for us to answer. If the Die Glocke was built and perhaps flown in 1945, and the men who built it were captured by the U.S., then why did the U.S. and Russia start to try to build this stuff from scratch in the 1990s?
Right. Or why was there a space race with propulsion?
Propulsion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other question is also, Where are Lehman's house? Why? Oh, and this leads to the most overwhelming question: if Hitler had all these UFOs and anti-gravity flying machines and all these high-tech weapons, how in the world did he lose the war?
Timing. Yeah, I thought about that too,
Right?
man.
If they quote all these advanced weapons more than us, did we just have sheer willpower, overpowering with muscle and man?
I don't think he did. I think they I don't know. That's kind of an interesting topic. Maybe they didn't necessarily lose the war, but they moved. You know, because
What do you mean?
there's evidence of Nazis like in America all over the place, man. Like you said, the paperclip project.
Yeah, they brought them all over here to work for us.
All over here. Maybe they just it's
Von
like,
Braun.
Argentina.
It was
Von
kinda
Braun.
like
He did the rockets. That's how we're in space or whatever.
It's kind of like the Knights Templar episode where you like they
They're-
just reframed.
Yes.
So it's like
let's go underground, rename, regroup, and then we're gonna pop up with another name.
yeah, in the background though, which
Yes.
is where you really true powers. You know, you can
It's always from the shadows.
from the shadows.
Cut
man.
off one head.
One more, 2, 3
3, 4.
more will grow back.
Hydra.
Hell, Hydra.
Yeah, Hydra.
I love the spin off topic on how they did the Hydra and they interwove it with
The Nazis.
Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
And it's almost like no, Hitler's Hitler's over here doing this. Here's the real evil. This
Wait,
guy,
hold on.
Red Skull.
But
I'm the real evil.
But let's talk
Yeah.
about that. What? And I know that was a Marvel movie, and it was
Yeah.
fiction, and it's not real.
Right.
But that's kind of the same here. I mean, the SS could be the Hydra was the
Absolutely.
SS, and they were using advanced weaponry, right? So I mean, there is some truth to that.
Let's break that down, because if you remember, Red Skull had almost like a disdain for Hitler. Did you notice his attitude? Like, oh, he's doing all this stuff. I'm over here doing the important work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Red Skull, Red Mercury.
What? Did you see that plane he flew off the building with?
Yep.
That's full
Anyway.
circle, bro. Come on, Project Mockingbird.
Okay.
What's going on?
All right,
here,
let's
bro?
let's take this home for a second.
Let's take it home.
One piece of evidence that is often put forward is the Kecksburg UFO incident in 1965. The story goes like this. You ready? On the night of 9th of December. No, I'm just kidding. 1965, 9th of December, a large fireball was viewed by thousands of people across six U.S. states and in Ontario, Canada. All right. Trailing some kind of material, the object crashed into the woods at Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, 30 miles northeast of Pittsburgh.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Okay.
Remember, it was a few months ago.
You saw this.
Remember, we saw this. We saw it on that. It was a clip of the same description crossing over 3 states from the West Coast, from California into, I think it was Arizona or Nevada, and it was that giant ball of blue material coming from the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And didn't it land somewhere?
Yeah, but they
Was
never
there
found it. But they never found it.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So hey, you never know.
Wow. So this was 30 miles northeast of Pittsburgh. And you guessed it right. The U.S. Army quickly shut the area down from the public.
Yeah.
No shocker there. Quickly shut it down. Not soon after this, a UFO was reported to have crashed, and then the story became almost as famous as Roswell. And it was almost as famous as Roswell, the incident. The object was named a Glocke. To this day, there is a reconstruction of the Kecksburg object, which is in the shape of a bell. It is in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. You can go look it up. There's a bell-shaped, somebody made it to, I guess, memorialize the incident that happened in 1965.
Yeah.
So it's actually there in the shape of a bell, and it's got some monumental stuff. But then in 2005, NASA came back. Here's NASA again. And they revealed that the object was actually a Soviet satellite, Cosmos 96, that re-entered the atmosphere, broke up during entry, and that's why the Army shut down the area and recovered the craft which had the same shape as a Die Glocke.
Interesting.
So we had so that was my story of the
The
real
same shape as the Die Glocke.
yeah, a Soviet
bell.
a Soviet Cosmos satellite, Cosmos 96.
Shaped as a bell.
Yeah.
Do we have pictures of this bell?
Well, it's in Pennsylvania, or it's in Kecksburg. You mean to pull it up?
Pull it. Jamie, pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up, dude.
All right, go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if I believe this story.
Which one in Kecksburg?
Any of this, the
just
whole
the
bell.
bell.
I'm so stuck on this bell. I don't.
There it is.
It is.
That looks like a.
Looks like an acorn. But this is what people do. Dad, don't say it. I know what you're thinking.
What does it look
Look.
like, boys?
It looks like.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know what it looks
Mushroom
like.
head.
Wait, does that look like the tip of a penis? Is that what you?
I didn't say it.
Come on, Byron.
But just the tip, though. Why would somebody do that? Well, like the tip of a penis does look like a bell.
Oh my god, he's
This is-
going in on it.
I mean, it does look like a bell, right?
this is
the
just
tip of
one
the penis.
big elaborate penis joke. Penis joke.
Well, anyway, that's
Joke's
what
on
they
us,
saw in
guys.
Kecksburg.
It's like, look at this UFO. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, come on,
Oh,
bro.
Come on, Hitler, man.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Hitler was perverted.
Jeez,
He's going to fly.
that looks
He's like
an
silly,
exact
dude.
replica.
Yeah, he's
of
like,
my
Hitler,
mushroom
why
head.
the shape of a bell? Wouldn't you like to know?
I'd counted my Wunderwaffe.
My Kecksler waffle?
It is my wonder weapon. Und ja. Look at my mustache.
All right,
Wow, that was unexpected.
Anyway.
I really thought we were going to see UFO, but we're just
Well, there
seeing, we're seeing an acorn.
No,
on
this
a
wasn't
stand.
what was recovered. This is what somebody made based on eyewitness testimony.
Okay.
Uh,
Wait,
my-
wait. Somebody
maybe
just
somebody woke
drew
up from a
this
dream.
from memory.
Yeah. Well, that's what it looked like. It was kind of shaped at the top. It was small and it kind of bulged out.
Somebody drew this from memory. They're like, yeah, that's what it looks
Had
like.
two balls on
That
it.
reminds me of Austin Powers. That looks like a big Johnson. You guys know what I'm
yeah.
talking about? Those look
Yeah.
like melons.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Free melons. Yeah.
Jeez, that's
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I mean, it's
Listen, anti-gravity. Since we're trying to research, we started in the 90s. Obviously, there was something going on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, dude, I forgot. Yeah, the exact purpose of the bell remains a subject of debate.
Yeah, what about time travel?
Time travel or time unit manipulation, development of powerful energy sources. Yeah, that's the other thing too. It could be used as a battery. I forgot about that when I was looking.
A battery?
Yeah, it creates yeah.
Like energy?
Yeah, it creates power. Because essentially, as it spins, it infinitely speeds up.
Would the actual bell spin?
No, that's what the bell was basically a housing unit for it.
What spins?
rotors.
Inside of it,
And what's
two
inside of it?
You know what a vortex
The
is?
vortex. Vortices?
Yeah, it's just basically like a tube that gets smaller. So as this passes through, it would speed up into a circle and pass through it again and speed up and pass through and speed up and then and it would just infinitely speed up inside of this bell, creating power.
Gotcha. Okay, got it. See?
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely, Doug Glocke.
It is, and the reason why they would hide it because it's free energy. There you go. It's permanent energy source. That's it.
If I saw
That's not even on my notes.
connection to like the Rockefellers,
Do you'd be on board?
I'd say yeah.
What about Hitler though?
What about him?
Was there no connection to Rockefellers or any kind of evil genius bloodline? Hitler. Well, maybe
yeah.
we should do a show on Hitler.
Satan.
I would
Say
that's the
Satan, but that's
connection.
their well, all of them are connected to Satan, right?
Exactly.
I think he was heavily influenced. I mean, I think he was
The occult.
Oh,
I think he was just right here talking in his ear, like literally. You know when people say, "Oh yeah, Satan's tempting me today," or it's not
Yeah.
specifically
Right,
him.
a lot of people.
You think he was actually sitting right there on the shoulder?
I really think he was sitting in his office with his.
A lot
feet
of
up.
people think Hitler was one of the antichrists. A lot of people think there was multiple antichrists throughout history. Julius Caesar was one. Hitler was another.
Nero or Nero.
Neo.
Nero.
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 Well, I believe there's not not the Antichrist, but there's an Antichrist spirit
Yeah, I mean, it
that
could be
people
worded
that
way,
people
too.
work from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they work from home.
Yeah,
Potentially. Yeah.
work from home.
So I don't know. This was a weird one to research, dude, for sure.
I'm gonna go. I believe it existed.
Okay.
I believe the bell was there,
Wow.
Here's my theory.
and they
on
were
this.
real good at hiding it.
Here's my theory. I think this is obviously a huge conspiracy, and this is the theory I'm formulating as I'm talking about it. So
Go.
give me some break here. But essentially, they created this weapon, Project Paperclip. I think the scientists came across with the weapon.
To
not,
the U.S.
Not weapon. let's call it.
Let's call it the craft.
a bell. The craft.
Yeah, the crap. Yeah,
This
Technology.
idea, this technology.
yeah.
Given the potential of it, time travel, time manipulation, powerful energy sources, the U.S. government or whoever the world decided to keep it quiet. So what they did is they created. You asked about propulsion earlier. Why do propulsion? And why was the German scientists helping with propulsion? It was almost like they were trying to get us off of that trail.
Yeah, that's plausible. I like
Say.
that train of thought.
So, like, yeah, well, and let's go back. Let's say the moon landing was faked and there's all this just elaborate hoax, which doesn't seem crazy
Yeah.
to me. We're funneling money into space energy, into all these things, and we're dropping money, but the money's really going nowhere. It's going back to the elites. It's going back. They're just funneling money. They're using the space race as a way to funnel money to whatever. So, but we've had this technology forever.
And it's just stifled.
It's just stifled.
We're not going to use it because it would probably bring us into another level
Yeah.
it would change the way we actually do things. Can you imagine if we had this technology in cars?
Well, imagine if we had an energy source that never went out.
Right.
That is a lack of control that they have over us. Because right now, the way that our system's set up is they can just cut the power. It all comes back. Everything goes back to control. So having a device like this, let's say if it is a huge battery, which is constantly creating power, and it's enough to power the entire world, there's no control over us. And that's what the elites want to do. That's what Satan wants to do, is he wants to control us.
So even though it would make the whole world and the elites in a better place as far as technology and the way your life could run, even though that's possible, the control that they have is better than trying to better whole of humanity.
Yeah. Well,
even though that maybe they're at a place where we're at an enlightened level, we don't need to go any further because we had this control that we have is allowing us to have a level of enlightenment that we're not letting them have, but we're having it now because we are in control.
Yeah, they're keeping us dumb. I mean, I can't remember who said it, but like technology is like, what do they call it? Like omnimoral technology is. Like technology is just technology.
There's
no
moral
it doesn't
stance
choose
on
a
it.
side. You know what I mean? So this is the same thing. And this is obviously I'm making this theory up on the spot, but
Well, it's a good theory. I like it.
there's stories of people that have created, which we can do a story on this, but people have created cars that run off of water. Or
I've heard
people-
of that.
People that create generators that run off of magnets infinitely.
I've heard
Infinite
of that.
power.
I've heard that these companies will buy patents and they'll never release them, like engines that never need oil.
Yeah.
The light bulb, something about the electricity in a light bulb never has to be replaced.
Never has to be replaced.
But they're not going to put that out there because they want to keep
I met a customer.
consumers keep buying.
I met a customer that he used to work in a manufacturing plant, and he told us that they invented a way to basically interlock for like respiratory oxygen tubes. They found out a way to manufacture these plastic ways to interlock them that they'd never be replaced ever. And the hospitals said, destroy it. We'll never buy it. Even though it'll last forever.
I believe it. I'm sure Big Pharma was behind because they didn't.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because there's good and bad to capitalism, you know? It's the bad is if something can't sell, you can't create a product that lasts forever.
Or the bad is if your competitor sells a good product and it threatens my business.
Yeah, that.
I don't
That
wanna
or
do
the
it.
business itself. If you sell something, they only have to buy one. Your business is going to burn out in
Yep.
a year. Everyone buys one; they never have to buy one ever again. Obviously, we're talking about energy here.
Jeez. Oh, well, I mean,
Um,
the Die Glocke
yeah.
was energy.
Or maybe it was a time travel thing, and Hitler he never really killed himself. He just went forward in time, and then when the end time comes, that's when he appears in
As
front
the
of us
Antichrist.
as the Antichrist.
Right, as the real, yeah.
Goes to the Temple Mount, says he is God. You guys all suck.
Yeah. And the witnesses are there, and they see him.
The witnesses are there, and there you go.
And then the bell comes down.
And the bell comes down, dude.
Right on top of him.
Right over Independence, Missouri. It
Yeah.
goes down that little swirl. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some kind of swirl there that it's like the center of the universe.
They think Jesus is going to slide
Right.
down that thing.
Yeah, the Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
and it's going to ring, and Jason will know it's noon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or dinner time. Stuff is ready.
I don't know. Here, scroll through my notes. Make sure I didn't forget anything.
Oh, let's see
real quick,
here.
dude.
Let's go. We got advanced propulsion, the controversy, the Reese complex.
Yeah. That's the same thing you were talking about. That's just another name for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Labor force. I talked about that briefly.
Abandonment. The
you
Wonder
can-
Waffle.
You can actually go to that complex and explore it. Tourists can go there now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can go there and walk through the tunnels. It's pretty interesting stuff.
That's crazy.
I read through all that. You just hit me with that's crazy, dude. Awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
You're like, wow, dude. Good
That's
story.
crazy.
Good story.
Plasma.
Yep. Okay, 150 to 200 meters up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't have that on my notes. So supposedly, let me read that real quick. Just another interesting little fact.
What's that? The effect of the zone of the bell?
Yeah.
Oh, that is kind of cool.
Hang on one second, dude. Where did I write that at?
As a Nazi old. Well, you can read it right here. Oh, you got more
No, I
notes
got
on
a
it.
different one. It says Wachowski describes Die Glocke when activated was having an effect zone of extending out to 150 to 200 meters. That's 490 to 660 feet in
Outside of the bell?
outside of the bell.
Okay.
Within this zone, crystals would form in animal tissue. Blood would become gel and separate, while plants would decompose into a grease-like substance. He said Wachowski also said that the 5 of the 7 original scientists working on the project died in the course of the tests. So maybe that's why.
Oh,
We never
that's
found it.
that's why we don't have them, because they're dead.
They all died because of the bell killed them. And then they moved the bell to Argentina to never
Right.
test it again.
And then we'll see it when Hitler time travels out of Argentina.
Yeah, he comes back in, and there you go.
Wow.
It's shaped like a bell.
Did we get to the bottom of that one?
Jason's still on the, it's like a bell. Why not a cube?
Something
Why not a
more
flying saucer?
of all the things?
A bell.
A bell.
Die Glocke.
Could have been a trapezoid,
Yeah,
Die
could
Glocke.
have been a hexagon, dude. Take one from the bees.
bro.
It's
Anything.
better.
Oh, not the bees. Not the bees.
You see that?
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's
Guys,
dumb.
It's
Thank
the dumbest
you.
thing I've ever seen in my life.
the bell.
The bell.
Die Glocke. That's one for the books, folks. Make sure you visit our website, bottomofthat.com, and you can check out our blog, and you can see all these great notes that we took for this research. You can read it all right there. Also, you can find our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm not going to say X. I'm going to say Twitter.
Okay.
If you're listening on YouTube, Rumble, and BitChute, and you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. If you do, that will tell the algorithm to feed this content to more people that like this content. If you're listening on any other podcasting platform, please turn on notifications so you never miss when we publish an episode. If you did not like this episode of the Die Glocke, I thank you for listening this long. And tune in next week when you might hear Joey say,
Karate.
exactly.